Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
I'm not going to beat around the bush or tiptoe lightly around this. We all know Christopher Nolan is a great filmmaker, maybe even one of the greatest of our time. But in one of his recent movies, I think there is a fatal flaw. And until recently, I've been thinking about this and wondering why I seem to be the only person thinking about this. At least I thought so, but I'll get to that later. First of all, I want to say I think it's a great film. It brings to life a character from history and humanizes his story and place in history. However, in my opinion, I think Christopher Nolan sidesteps the most important part. Maybe it's his love for Oppenheimer or his interest in his character that has potentially blindsided him to the most obvious part. Let me be clear, I honestly think that not showing either the first or second of the use cases of the atomic bomb, which was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was a mistake, both cinematically as well as historically, maybe even culturally. Yes, he showed the first test case and it was cinematically done, it was interesting, it was well edited, it was well told. But the key moment, which I expected to see on screen, never happened. Think about this for a second. Would you go to watch a film, let's say whether it be a sports film, a drama, action, fantasy, whatever, and not get to see the pivotal moment? Imagine seeing Titanic and not see the ship go down. Saving Private Ryan, not be seeing D-Day. In Endgame, the final showdown. Imagine Jurassic Park, not seeing the dinosaurs, just actors staring into the abyss and never seeing what's there. It's those pivotal moments or character's story or arc that if you didn't see on screen, you would naturally think it was a bit odd. Yes, we got to see the test case, but that isn't what the world knows Oppenheimer for. It is the result and the use cases. Now, Nolan has mentioned some reasons which I personally don't necessarily think work. One of them being that Oppenheimer didn't in fact go to Japan and he wanted to focus the movie around his experiences and himself. And maybe you could make a case for that, but I don't think it really works. Now, this is where I think Nolan perhaps didn't trust the audience, at least fully. He's well known for taking the audience on deep dives, but in this case, I think he didn't want to sully the opinion that he'd been garnering with the audience this whole time. It's like he didn't trust the audience to make up their mind about Oppenheimer. Because let's face it, seeing this is just a little bit terrifying. Maybe the thinking was that if people saw this, it would be the lasting image they walk away with. And maybe he's right about that. But that is the audience's choice to make. I would say we do not see much of Oppenheimer's thought process afterwards. We get a few shots and a few moments, but one of the most lasting historical moments that the world got to see behind the veil of his thoughts was this particular clip, which I'm going to play it, and incidentally, I thought we were going to see a recreation of this moment, but it never came. I'll roll this clip.
Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
I'm not saying that Nolan needs to cinematically glorify the use cases of unleashing a terrifying weapon on a civilian population, but it did happen. But let's face it, without the use case of the atomic bomb, you would not know the name of Oppenheimer, and we wouldn't have gone to see a movie about him, and I wouldn't be making this video. I'm sure Nolan could have created this without any kind of glorification. It could have been done even silently perhaps, or using news footage or military footage of the time and just shown factually what had happened. You only need to look at films like Schindler's List to see that difficult topic matters can be covered. The choice that he arrived at, in as much as not showing it at all, just doesn't seem to compute. From a historical point of view, in our current climate, it would still be worth making the point. Seeing something like that visually is a point still worth making. Nuclear weapons are just as relevant now as they were back then. Maybe the minutes to midnight are even closer. The image is a powerful one and worth being reminded of. There is also a lot of rewriting of history and flipping the narrative these days, and it would have been good to have some visual history recreated on screen. I alluded to this earlier, that I had seen other people mention this, and it was James Cameron that recently noted that not showing the bomb somewhat gutted the movie, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact statement, but hearing that made me think maybe I should make this video and air some of the thoughts that I'd had, so I thought I would make this video and see what reaction it gets. These conversations are just as much a part of filmmaking, and perhaps more important in the role of storytelling. It seems to be something that Nolan did think about, and it's worth respecting that choice in as much as I think any filmmaker gets to make their film. It's his film, he made it, so he has carte blanche over it. Maybe Nolan's reasons are fully justified, maybe they're not. All I know is not including the reason this film was made in the first place on screen is a bizarre choice.
We're not gonna make it, are we?
I thought I'd leave you all with a quote from Stargate, no less, if there's any fans out there, let me know, of a reference, albeit from a TV show, that has always served as one of my favourite references to the atomic bomb.
A weapon of mass destruction can only be used for one thing. Now, you might think it'll ensure peace and freedom, but I guarantee you, it'll never have the effect you're hoping for until you use it. At least once.